Greetings, Blacklight here. We breaking down the movie Spook, Who's Sat by the Door, and it's a scene that I'm going to replay, and I want to see, can you recognize your oppressor's weaknesses? And this is my whole point. See, everything is based on your willpower and determination to break away from your oppressor. Thy will must be done on earth as it is in heaven. Thy will. In one of my videos I was talking about your oppressor imposing his will upon yours, dominating your will. His will is dominating your will. You no longer have the desire. Now once you start messing with a person's willpower and you start losing the will, you will self-destruct. You will turn on yourself, eat each other up, because your brain has lost its vision, its inner vision. You can't see your way out of the situation. So you, boom, pull the trigger on your own self. Now one thing, a bit of science that the oppressor did was, in slavery days, he had a house mammy who breastfed the slave master's children. They became her own. That conditioning became a part of her DNA. And the field black woman became the slave master's concubine. That condition became a part of her DNA. And this picture right here, this movie, illustrates the house mammy from the field black Nubian queen, fine Nubian queen. I'm gonna comment after this anyway. Don't go away.
We need 2 people over in this area, please. Hurry.
Due to increased fighting in Chicago, the president has ordered a brigade from the 82nd Airborne into the war-torn South Side to reinforce the beleaguered National Guard under heavy attack by black guerrillas since late last week. This is Pat Fennell, Chicago.
You've been here since the beginning, Carstairs. How does it look to you?
General, it couldn't be worse.
We have elite troops out here now against untrained black fanatics. The whole thing should be over before the weekend.
Those troops are facing a highly trained underground guerrilla army. They have military weapons and they know how to use them. The commander of those elite troops insists he can put this thing down within a few days.
You disagree?
Yes, sir, I do. They're a first-class fighting unit.
You prepared an options book.
Yes, sir.
And?
We have 3. Root them out one by one, starve them out by siege, total evacuation of the black population.
Evacuation?
Now, the first is too costly in lives and equipment. Neither evacuation nor siege would work.
Why not?
General, we sealed off the ghetto for 3 days last week. It paralyzed the city.
Paralyzed Chicago?
Chicago is more dependent on black labor than one would think. 90% of the garbage collectors are colored. 60% of the hospital workers are colored. 60% of the bus drivers, and 80% of the postal workers. So although the detention camps occurring under the 1950 Subversion Act are ready, we can't put them to immediate use.
Paralyzing the city. shut down the labor force shut down Chicago. You heard the statistics. King was getting ready to do something similar to that. Sanitation workers. I forget what city they were in, New York, one of those cities, before he was assassinated. And he realized how the economic structure is based off of the black man's energy, labor. See, the Caucasian or the elite Caucasians, the Illuminati, we're going to give them that name, the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds, they are depending on the black man's energy, his time, his space. And see, it's like a pyramid. See, the United States, at one point, around 1910 or something like that, needed some money, finance their wars and other little covert and overt operations they wanted to do around the planet. They wanted to, expand the New World Order. But they, at one time wanted to separate from Great Britain, and that's when the War of Independence came about. So they borrowed some money from Rothschild. And Rothschilds, in return, put a lien on the people. Well, the slaves were already, they never did come out of that bondage. They never did accumulate any kind of wealth or standing or status or any kind of jurisdiction for themselves. So this is London, city-state, empire of city, 3 city-states. The spiritual is Vatican, really educational, military. So they told the, just like when you go to a pawn shop and you get some money from you use some collateral and you get a loan off your collateral, and you don't pay your loan back. So how's the pawn shoppers going to collect? Well, they're going to send some henchmen after you. And plus they're going to charge interest, every time you are late on your payment. All this is against scriptures. And so they got to have a little army. In this case, it's the United States. The United States is the Rothschilds' army. Now, where's their weak spot? The man just told you how they paralyzed the city. If you were united as a people, black people, you would just walk away, walk off the job, because that ain't no real money anyway. You just getting tokens, and you would walk off the job until you get what you want. That's what strikes came. That's Detroit. The brothers up here in Detroit, we know about striking, breaking some kind of deal with Chrysler, Ford, and GM. But see, now New York, y'all white collar. See, we blue collar. We had to fight to get in the unions. We had to kick ass, to get into the union. Actually, physical fight. They didn't want to. The white boys didn't want to let us in, but we got in. You see what I'm saying? And New York, y'all might have fought the whitey a couple of times, over some stuff. But we constantly fighting here. That's why when we had the 1967 riots, we scared them so bad that they gonna get a brother, Mayor Coleman Young, to be mayor. But they thought he was gonna be a Tom like Obama. See, Obama, his mother was white, and his old man was Nigerian, and he was a Muslim, and they used Obama to relax the Muslims to think that, he gonna get them some play. Think that the brothers think that since he black, he gonna get him some play. But his mama groomed him to be president, a leader. He got his mama's mind, So they chose Michelle for him because she was black, Or maybe they didn't. Maybe he chose Michelle himself because the black in him wanted a black woman. However, he still was a Tom. Because Mayor Coleman Young wasn't no Tom. Mayor Coleman Young was sort of like Trump in the way he did things his way, but he built his own army. Just like the Honorable Elijah Muhammad built his own army around him to protect him. Now, if all the brothers paralyzed the main cities, New York, LA, all the main cities, Atlanta, Dallas, paralyzed all Chicago, just walk off. All we need is about 5 or 6 cities. Things have changed quicker than the twinkling of an eye. If all the black people don't vote, don't register to vote, and walk off the job, if all the black people don't fill out no income tax forms, see, they already got your money anyway because they take it out your check anyway. But what they talking about is your energy. To be continued.